Good morning, America, and good morning, Tennessee. It's kind of indicative of what's going on across America today. Kind of a cloudy sky, overcast. There are communists or socialist Democrats telling you, "Don't worry, we've got it figured out. We'll just do away with the Supreme Court, the referee in law cases in America." I don't always agree with the Supreme Court, but I think we do need a Supreme Court. Let's do away with the Senate. Now, the early founding fathers of America decided that in order to give less populated states some control in government, some voice in government, they need to have a body, the Senate, which had 2 senators per state, that gives them an equal voice in the checks and balances system of the U.S. government. Oh, we don't like the U.S. government, we don't like the Constitution. Dave, we don't like you wrapping yourself in the American flag every day. You look like a clown with a hat, and it looks like a rodeo clown. Well, I tell you what, I'd rather wrap myself in the American flag and the Constitution of the United States than wrap myself in the empty promises of the socialist, Democrat, communists that are trying to foist on you, telling you, hey, don't worry, the government will take care of you. Hey, don't worry, we'll just take all the money from the rich people, the top 1%, while you sit at home and play video games and wait for the government check to show up. Talk to anyone. I have not heard a single person that's come from Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea or China or Russia saying, "Yeah, it's a good way to have a system. The quality of life is good here. We enjoy living in Russia. We enjoy living in China." Really? How many thousands of people are trying to get into Russia? How many thousands of people are trying to get into China? Compare that with the millions of people trying to get into America. Why? Because America is the land of opportunity. America is where you can have a dream. America is where you can wrap yourself in the promise of the American dream. China, Russia, there's no promise. It's just the government's going to tell you what to do, and if you don't, you'll disappear. They put speakers in the wall or microphones in the wall to watch what you're doing. They take away all of your rights and say it's for the greater good. Because you're not smart enough to figure out what you want to do. The government's going to tell you how to do it. But there are some in America that are saying, well, we've got problems in America, an American system, and we hate Donald Trump, so we're just going to do away with all that. We'll just go to socialism, communism. One of the problems we're having in America today is half the people, 40%, 50%, depending on the poll that you look at, have taken leave of their senses, lost common sense. Let me give you some examples. The spotted owl in Oregon. Well, we need to save old growth timber. We need to not disturb the forest habitat because we want to save the spotted owl. Oregon is on fire this year. Why? Because of poor forest management. In my years of covering news in Oregon, I remember Greg Walden, who has since retired, great congressman, conservative congressman. I think it's starting to rain. Very indicative of what's going on in America. It's okay, I'm wrapped myself in the American flag here and I won't get wet. I might go under the umbrella here in just a moment. Let's get back. Let's get back to Greg Walden. My wife's covering the camera here so it doesn't get wet in the rain shower. Let's get back to Greg Walden talking about fires and poor forest management in Oregon. He said if we continue on the practice we are of putting more value in saving every little snail and every little owl and just let the forests die, we're going to have a conflagration. We're going to have wildfires that we can't control, and that's what we're seeing. There's a company by the name of Starker Forest. We're going to try to get an interview with them. When I was in Albany doing news for a KGAL K show, Charlie Eads, good to see you. I interviewed the good folks at Starker Forest. Now, Starker Forest owns some private land, and they log it, and they maintain it. They take care of things like ladder fuels. Ladder fuels are the debris on the forest floors, which allow a path for fire to eat its way through the forest floor and then go up into the trees. Good forest management helps decrease the chance of wildfires. Now, Congressman Greg Walden said we're going to have to rename the National Forest Service to the National Fire Service because what they were going to end up doing is just trying to put out fires. because of poor management practices. So half of America is losing common sense. We're saying, hey, the snail and the owl are more important than our homes and our businesses and our habitat. Rick Steber just lost a home that he does his writing in the forest because it got torched because of bad forest management in the state of Oregon. You're going to have to start using common sense. Another example, we don't like what's going on in America's economy system, so we're just going to let the government take care of us. We're going to go to socialism, and we're going to make sure that everybody's guaranteed an income. We're going to have Medicare for all. We're going to have wide open borders. The government knows best. We don't like the top 1% telling us what to do, so we're going to do away with this U.S. Senate. Remember the U.S. Senate giving each state 2 voices in government. So the less populated states won't be overrun by the more populated states and just become essentially serfs. But the socialists want to do away with the Supreme Court and the Senate. The Senate gives you small states like Idaho and other small states, New Hampshire, don't have a lot of population. It gives you a co-equal voice in government, and you want to give that away. You also want to say, Democrats, socialists, that you want the House of Representatives to select the U.S. president, but you don't want to call him the president. You want to call him the Grand Poobah or whatever. You want the House of Representatives to be the Politburo of America. Stupid idea. The Founding Fathers, I think, they're not perfect. We're not perfect. But I do think they had a brilliant idea and a plan for co-equal branches of government, checks and balances, because they knew that given total control, that human greed and corruption will run roughshod over the people. So when they wrote the document, We the People, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they wanted to make sure that a government had a series of checks and balances so that we the people could control the government, so there could be some organization, so it wasn't just chaos, but there was checks and balances to make sure that the rights of the people were not downtrodden by the needs of the many. Okay, Joe, we don't think, I know you want to be a doctor, but we don't believe in the government you should be a doctor. We think you should be a plumber. I know your fathers and grandfathers were doctors and you really want to help people and you want to work hard to be a doctor, but we don't want you to be a doctor. We want you to be a plumber, and we're the government, we're going to tell you what to do. You like that? Government comes into your home and says, we talked to your son and he wants to be a girl. And I know you and your Christian faith don't want that, but we're the government, we're going to tell you what to do. We're the government, we're here to help. Government should serve the people, not the other way around. We should not be subservient to the government. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, ensure justice, provide for the common defense, domestic tranquility, you know the thing. We need to start electing, I believe, Christians. We need to start electing people who believe in the United States of America, who don't want to torch the Constitution, who don't want to continue to let the forests burn because we're trying to save the snail or the owl. We should put more importance on the existence of people than the existence of the spotted owl. Oregon, this is meant for you. Or the snail in California. Let's make sure that there's water in the reservoirs to fight wildfires late night last night, instead of making sure there's enough water to flush them to the sea so that they're happy. Yeah, they might be happy, but there's no water in the reservoirs to fight wildfires in California. Likewise in Oregon, all the forests are overgrown of old growth timber, and ladder fuels abound, and you've got to thin out a forest. Example, in Bend, Oregon, it was outside of, I think it was Bend, Oregon, there was a huge, I think it was near Highway 20. There was a piece of land that had had a severe fire. And timber interests wanted to go in and log the timber right after the fire. Let's get in there, let's remove all the dead timber, log it, clean it out, and let the forest grow back healthy. They didn't want to do that. We got to save the snail and the owl and all the little creatures running around on the forest floor. So we'll just let nature take its course, and we'll just let it rot in place. Every time we drove by on Highway 20, it looked, for years, it looked ugly. And all this standing dead timber just rotted in place. And it's unsafe to walk there because of what are called widowmakers. You know, rotten trees that just kind of fall on the top of your head because they've rotted in place. And you just let the forest just kind of dissolve in place over decades. Why not go in there and log it, clean it out, and let a healthy forest come back quicker? Why don't you maintain the forest floor? Why don't you go in and take care of what are called ladder fuels, which is the debris and the broken twigs and so on the forest floor that are ladder fuels for a fire to ladder across the forest floor and up to the next tree. There's ways that you can maintain forests for healthy forests. Now, you heard me talk about Starker forests in Lebanon, Oregon, I believe. I don't know if they still do, but one of the things they did was they gave tours of their private forest land and said, these are some examples of best management practices in how you deal with the forest and how you keep it healthy, how you keep it productive, how you keep it safe, how you prevent catastrophic wildfires from just exploding. And they gave these free tours to the public because they're trying to teach the public what best management practices look like in dealing with wildfires and how to prevent wildfires, best management practices in dealing with forest health. Hope they still give those tours because more and more people need to know about it. Common sense. When Oregonians and others in America are faced with some common sense questions. Do you want to do away with the Supreme Court? Do you want to do away with the Senate? Do you want to let the spotted owl have free reign in Oregon and let people's homes burn? We're going to have to start getting to the point where common sense prevails in America. And right now in America, about half and half. People are willing to trade away their future and their freedoms for a bowl of soup. Oh, I'm having a hard time getting a job. I think prices are too high at grocery stores. So we're just going to do away with the Constitution. We're going to do away with the Supreme Court. We're going to do away with Donald Trump. We're going to steal from the top 1%. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll take away from the rich, give to the poor. We'll do Robin Hood, theory of economics. The engine of commerce will grind to a halt. Why? Because nobody will want to work. Why? Because they don't have to work. Why? Because the government will just send them a check until the government runs out of money. And the government will run out of money because those people paying into the government to pay for your checks that you're getting for free stop working. Because if Joe is staying at home playing video games all day and not working, and I'm working, paying for all his stuff, and he's not doing anything, I'm going to say, hey, this isn't working out too good for me. I don't want to do that. Socialism dies when you run out of other people's money. When the top 1%, the evil, wealthy people, move overseas or run out of money or just stop producing wealth because you're stealing it from them, and they'll stop producing wealth. The government will run out of money, and those free checks that you're expecting to show up in the mailbox are going to stop showing up. The government does not create wealth. The government does not create an economy. The government sucks the life out of an economy like this giant vacuum cleaner. The free market system, you have a business that has a great idea. They create a product. They create a service. They create something of value, and they sell it in the marketplace for money. And they make more and more money. But you get something of value. That's how it works. And this hopefully wisely run company by this entrepreneur who maybe has a shekel or two to rub together and a good idea, he makes more money. He expands his company, he hires more people, they come to him and they work and they help generate this product or service. And they get paid for it. So a product is created, a widget, a thing, a car, whatever, a cell phone. Something of value is created and it's sold and you make money out of it. That's how wealth is created. That's how an economy energizes. The economy does not energize and create wealth and create products if you sit at home, wait for the government check to arrive. You say that I wrap myself in the American flag, you're wrapping yourself in the empty promises of communism, socialism. Mendami, New York City, free buses, free childcare. Where are they? Where are the free buses, Mendami? Oh, we're going to make sure that everybody has a right to have a place to live. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to maintain it? Who's going to build it? If you disincentivize people to invest in housing, they're not going to build it. Think the government's going to build it? They've run out of money because they gave you all the money and the free checks showing up in your mailbox. It doesn't work. Talk to anybody from Venezuela, Cuba. Talk to them about food shortages. Talk to them about housing shortages. My friends, socialist Democrats that are wrapping yourselves in the empty promises of socialism, you're going to have a rude awakening. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat its mistakes. Oh, socialism has worked, and we can make it work this time because America has the resources to do it. No, it won't. Not if you unplug the economic machinery of wealth creation, of widget creation, of producing a product, of producing wealth. Government doesn't produce wealth. Government sucks wealth out of the economy. That's how it works. It's just amazing to me. Well, not really, because when you have AOC go on and say it's World War II. No. When you have politicians saying that the spotted owl is more important than people's homes, you're taking leave of your senses. You're taking leave of common sense. When you ignore people from Venezuela saying, America, stop. You don't want to do this. This is not good. You want to take a look at communism, go to Cuba. Look at the food shortages. Look at the chaos in the streets. Look at the housing shortages. Don't go there. There's a light coming and it's a train. Listen to it. Oh, Dave, you just wrap yourself in the American flag. Well, you wrap yourselves in the empty lies of socialism, communism, telling you that, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to do it right this time. We're going to take care of the working people. The working people. Well, you take care of the working people. You feed them. You don't tell them how to fish. You don't show them how to fish. You don't allow them to help generate wealth and strength of an economy in America. You just keep handing them out money. Eventually, your piggy bank's going to run dry. And then they're not going to have any checks. You're not going to have a strong economy. And we're just as weak as Russia and China. We're just as weak as Russia, who has been trying to fight Ukraine for 5 years and still hasn't won the war. Take a look around, America. What do we want this country to look like in 5, 10 years? Do we want it to look like Cuba? Do we want it to look like Venezuela? What has happened in America in the last 250 years? We have grown an economy. We have grown a nation because we fueled this wonderful thing called the human initiative. I've got an idea. I'm going to make a company. I'm going to sell a widget. I'm going to make money. And I'm going to make wealth. And I'm going to employ people. And we're going to create wealth. We're going to create stuff. And we're going to sell it. And we're going to make money. And that's not a bad thing. Yes, we need to take care of people. Yes, we have problems in America. But wrapping yourselves in the empty promises of socialism, you're going to wind up in the same way as Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, China, and Russia. Do you want to go there? You're going to trade away your freedom for an empty promise. I may wrap myself in the American flag, but you've wrapped yourselves in the lies of socialism. It won't work. Don't believe me. Do some history, do some research. Talk to some people who lived in Venezuela. Is this a place we want to go? I don't think so. Vote American. Vote constitutional. I'm going to say it. Vote Republican. Because it's becoming the Socialist Party versus the Constitution Party. Socialist Party, Democrats are just being allowed to take over that party. Communism. The Republicans are the party of the American dream, are the party of constitutional government. are the party of freedom, are the party of the work ethic. We need to continue to use common sense and make wealth and create wealth in America, to continue to make this the greatest nation on earth. What is wrong with making America great again? Do you want China to be great again? Do you want another Tiananmen Square? Look it up. If you don't believe me, look up Tiananmen Square. Do the research. Don't believe me. Look it up. What was Tiananmen Square all about? Tiananmen Square was the government crushing the uprising from the civilians, from the citizens, with a tank. You saw that guy standing in front of the tank? He was fighting and willing to die for freedom. Do you want to go down that road? Do you want America to have a Tiananmen Square? Because socialism, you can vote it in, but you have to fight your way out. You have to shoot your way out. So yeah, I wrap myself around the American flag because it is the promise, it is the guarantee of individual rights and freedoms and liberty. If not America, where? America, stand your ground. And as we say here, cowboy up America. I'm Dave Adams. This is Street Level America. And that's what I think.